Hello, everybody. Everybody is joining in. The good news is that I had set it up so that people would be muted when they come in, and they are. So I love this new button that's over here in Zoom that says admit all, which is amazing. That's gonna help us out a lot. Yeah. Next time I need to learn how to set it up so that it can essentially auto admit everybody that comes in. But that's for next time. So we'll wait a few minutes, while everybody joins the meeting. No, while we're waiting, let me see. Mickey, can you hear me? Yes, hi, Mickey. Hello, hi. You can unmute yourself there for a second. Let me see if I can actually ask to unmute. Yes, ask to unmute. And I'm certain. No, there you go. Hello.
Hi, Greg. How you
Hi,
doing?
how you doing? Good to see you.
You too.
Yes, it's been a stressful few months.
Can imagine.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. But Mickey, I wanted to just quickly share my desktop here with you. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna share it with everybody here. Okay, just so that we are certain that you guys can all see my screen well. So you can all see so Mickey, you can see my screen right now, right?
Yeah, yeah, I can indeed.
Yeah, all right, all right. So this is good. All right, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Now, Mickey, can you actually see my video at the same time, or you can't see me at all right now? You can only see the screen.
I can see you and I can see the screen.
Oh, that's great. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
cool, cool. So we can all see each other. What's wonderful. All right. So we'll wait a few more minutes, for everybody to jump in. I'll stop the sharing so that when everybody comes in, they'll just be able to, see me. Oh, there are some more people that are coming in. Okay, we have a capacity of 500 people here today. Um, and let's see how close we can get to that number. Should be exciting. Now, for those of you who have used Zoom before, I'm sure you're familiar with like the raising hand option that's there. Um, so if you are, go ahead and raise your hand. There's a little option that allows you to do that. And then I can open up the chat window here later on as well, just so that we can. There we go. Jesper raised his hand. CSB. All right, cool. We got some hands going up. Awesome. Yeah, we just got a few more minutes left before we'll officially start. Hello, Charlie DeCarlo. Pleasure meeting you too.
can you still see me there, Greg?
Yeah, yeah, Mickey, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can't see myself on the screen now for some reason.
Yeah, that's okay.
No problem.
Yeah, the number of participants is going up. The closer and closer we get. That's good. I'm gonna try to see if I can actually keep that participant window open. Um, let's see, when I share the screen, I'm gonna try to see if I can bring up that window as well. Let's try sharing. Uh, you don't have to record it because I'm going to be recording it here on my end. So yeah. So there'll be actually a YouTube video that I will post when it's done, so I'll go ahead and approve it, but you don't have to worry about recording it on your end. Notes to the meeting. Oh, Read provides AI-generated meeting summaries to make meetings more efficient and effective and efficient. View our privacy. Okay, that's interesting. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Greg.
Hello, hello. It says Tony Williams. Nice to be here. Thank you, Tony. We got people from all over the world. Look at this. All right, it is that time. Hello, everybody. Hey, there's Sam John. All right. Hello and welcome to this wonderful introduction to the Realist Peak slash predictions. This is a really, really simple thing to set up, and I'm certain that throughout this live webinar, I'm going to do it several times for some of the other people that are going to be joining us along the way. You know, but first of all, I want to answer some of the frequently asked questions that I encountered the last time we did this, which was a few days ago. The first question is the Google Peak going to come back? And the answer is yes, the Google Peak will come back. And it's simply going to come back because, we're going to be hosting it with not Google on Google's platform. And basically because we were hosting Inject with Google's App Engine, that's the reason why this happened. And so essentially, Google has a rule that says that their terms of service agreement, one of the many things says that you can't obviously have a phishing site. And even though Inject isn't really phishing, in the long run, because of a variety of other things that happened that I won't go into, which was because of the guys at AnyWeb essentially bringing up the fact that they were shut down, and they said that, well, if you're going to be shutting us down, then you need to shut Greg Rostami's Inject down. And so here you go. Here, we're at that position. You know, so that's what's happening there. And we by moving it away from Google, we're going to be doing two things. We're going to look into actually not only hosting Inject on a different service provider, and then most likely it's going to be either like AWS or Microsoft Azure. And right now we're leaning a little bit more towards Azure just because ReaList currently runs on Microsoft Azure. But we're also leaning towards just running it locally, meaning that, literally the office that you see behind me here will have a few computers in it and it will run Inject. So that way I will not be in any way restricted to anybody else's rules or laws. The other question that came about that has come up a lot in the history of Inject is that how come Google didn't shut you down earlier? Well, the reason why they didn't is because Google was actually very aware of me for the last 11 years. There have been many top not only executives, but also top people that have been in the security team that were very aware of my existence and Inject's existence. And they recognized that this was not phishing and that in no way, shape, or form was this malicious. And that's the reason why everything was okay. Um, and then there was a variety of reasons why they were okay with it. One of them was that if you take any one of the inject URLs and you just type it into a browser, like if you type in google.cm into a browser, without putting your ID at the end, you would notice that it immediately just opens Google. So everybody in the Google security team in these last 11 years that has looked at any of these URLs has recognized that they don't do anything other than just open Google. Right? And so therefore, why would they object to any website that simply opens Google? And hence the reason why everything has been fine for all these 11 years. And of course, the people that even knew how Inject worked, they were okay with it too. So yeah, And then simply at the end of the day, the reason why this all went down is because once someone complained, then Google cannot show any favoritism. And that's it. It's really that simple. They can't show any favoritism. So I can't say, oh, well, if you're going to take me down, you need to take, these other people down. It's not like, Google's going to say, oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. If this other person exists, then you're okay too. The only answer that they can have is that we're going to take everybody down that imitates Google. And that's exactly what they did. All right. So that's as far as the Google thing is concerned. The other question that came up is that, if Google has a problem with Google.com, wouldn't they have a problem with Google Stats? And the answer is no. Okay. And it's mainly because Google Stats is completely fictitious, even though when you perform it as a magic trick, you are essentially playing it off as a real website. It's not. It's a fictitious website, and that's the reason why they don't have an issue with that. And also, as we just said a few moments ago, Google Stats and ReaList is actually hosted someplace totally different. So that we don't have to worry about terms and services agreements that Google would have that would in any way interfere. All right. So let's get started. Hello, everybody. We can see we got a lot of people here, and I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen here with everybody. Okay. So you guys can see my iPhone at the same time as everything else. And I'm gonna, unfortunately, I can't actually see the participant window here. So let me try to see if I can bring up the participant window here at the same time. Just so that if we have other people that are going to try to join us in this meeting, I'll see them pop up and I can then actually approve them. So here we go. So on the left-hand side, this represents the magician's phone. Okay, so as a matter of fact, you can see that I have a little blue cursor there that's going to represent my finger on the phone. And I'm going to start from scratch, meaning that I'm just going to get rid of everything that's running here right now, and I'm going to launch ReaList. All right. And so this is showing you how you would go about performing the ReaList peek. So there's ReaList. For those of you who have it, you're familiar with this user interface. And for those of you who don't own it, then that's what it looks like, right? So right after you launch ReaList, the only thing that you have to do is this little button here at the top that says Thumper. So you just go ahead and you click on the thumper, you tap on the thumper, and you notice that it says, to force an item, ask your spectator to select the topic video games. Okay. Now, one of the things that you might not have read when we were first looking at the user interface of ReaList is at the top, it says, ask your spectator to visit google-stats.com, then tap the thumper button. Right? So essentially, just by reading the first page of the ReaList page, it tells you exactly what to do. So it's very verbose in the way that it's designed. So, there's no confusion. Just read what it says on the page and you'll figure out how it works. Okay. So, and that's basically how you perform. The only thing you do is you launch the app and you hit the thumper button and you're ready to go. All right. So currently, you could see here that basically the pairing topic right now is video games. In a moment, we're going to talk about how you can change that pairing topic, but I like performing with video games mainly because it's the last icon that's on a Google Stats page. So now, all you do is you just take your phone and you drop it in your pocket. And that's it, literally. There's nothing else to do. You just drop your phone in your pocket, right? I like to drop my phone in my pocket where the screen of my phone is actually facing my body and the top of the phone, which is right here, is close to the opening of my pocket. And all that allows me to do is that if I put my hand in my pocket, I can very easily just slide my phone out of my pocket. Oh, it says here, people are waiting to join. There we go. I can easily just like slide my phone out of my pocket and get a peek. Talking about peeking, you probably noticed that currently I don't have any kind of a smartwatch on. I don't like performing with the smartwatch. If you have watched any of the videos of me performing either at magic conventions or for my family or whatever else, you've probably noticed that I have absolutely no signs of technology on my body. And this is a very important subtlety in performance because I always assume that my spectators are the smartest people in the world. And so therefore, I can't have any signs of visible technology on my body. And hence the reason why my phone is in my pocket. And I like to peek from my pocket. All right. So now that's it. All you've done is you've launched the thumper. The phone's in your pocket. On the right-hand side, which is the spectator's phone, you say, yeah, go ahead, fire up your phone, go into any browser. In this case, this is Safari, right? And any browser is going to work. You say, do a Google search for Google Stats. So your spectator just types in Google Stats. And usually in my pattern, I say, yeah, you can type it in as one word or two words. As a matter of fact, you can even misspell it because the nice thing about Google is that it doesn't matter because it's still going to find Google Stats. And a majority of the time, you're going to notice that Google Stats will appear either as the first, second, or the third item that will be in a Google search, which is amazing, which makes it essentially feel like a real Google service, even though it's not. And I didn't have to do anything special to get Google Stats to appear at the top of Google search results. It just happened naturally and organically. It's because you guys have visited it as often as you have over the last 5 years that ReaList has existed. Okay. So now they see Google Stats, say, yeah, go ahead, select Google Stats, and they go ahead and select it, and it takes them to this page. Says, yeah, there's a page pops up. It says, explore what the world is searching, right? And so now at this point, I say, usually if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, the last icon on that page is video games. And let me say that sentence one more time. I say, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, usually the last icon there says video games. And the word usually is important mainly because it kind of like subliminally communicates to your spectators that you are not religiously familiar with the Google Stats website, right? Which, just kind of shows them that, yeah, I mean, to you, it's just another one of the Google sites. So these little subtleties go really a long way in like convincing your audience that everything is just on a down low and it's nonchalant and there's nothing really big happening, right? So now they follow your instructions, they scroll down to the bottom and they click video games, right? So now the moment that they click on video games, you'll notice here on the left-hand side, it says here paired with two sessions. Now, the reason why it's saying two sessions right now is because one of you guys is actually going to Google Stats at the same time as me. Okay, that's okay. You can do that if you want. But so if you are only performing for one spectator, then obviously what it would say over here would be, it would simply say that it's paired with only one session. Okay, now I can see that you guys are saying paired with three sessions. That means that more and more and more of you right now are going on to Google Stats and you're clicking on the video games topic. Okay, so at this point, the only thing that happens, and I want to just caution everybody, so please, what I'm about to do next, please don't do it all at the same time, just so that you guys can all get a very clear idea of what happens when you are performing for a single spectator. And in a moment, we'll talk about what happens if you're performing for multiple spectators. All right. So now, here's what happens. You say to the spectator, say, yeah, video games is a topic that I selected for you, but I want you to have the freedom to do a search up here for basically any topic you like. Okay, and it doesn't matter what topic you're interested in. So they go up to the top. Okay, and okay, so somebody just did a search over here. Somebody is actually doing a force on the website. All right, so let me get that out of the way. All right, no problem. All right, so and somebody now had just switched over to they typed a word into the search topic, and that's the reason why we see that word pop up here at the top. All right. So let me go ahead and get that out of the way. And so that's actually what's happening right now. You're noticing these push notifications that are popping down from the top of the screen based on whatever are the searches, right? So, it looks like Terry did a search, and that's why Terry appears here at the top. All right. So you guys are beating me to the punch over here. Okay. So let me just communicate exactly what happens at this point. And all that happens is where it says enter a search term or a topic. Your spectator clicks into that and they type in anything they want. And so let's say they type in the word magician. Okay, they hit enter and watch what's going to happen here on the right-hand side. Okay, the right-hand side, what the spectators see on their phone is a search for the word magician in the real Google Trends website. And so what's cool about this is that since this is the real Google Trends website, it shows you all the information about the word magician being searched in the world. For example, it shows that currently in the country of Philippines, people are doing a search for the word magician more than anything else, followed by New Zealand and Singapore, right? And it's kind of cool. It shows you a bar graph. It shows you over time, how popular this has been. So at this point in time, everything seems very legitimate. And because it is very legitimate, it's the real Google Trends website. Whereas on the left-hand side, notice how that push notification that just came in was actually generated by Inject, which means that the word magician now was transmitted into the Inject universe. Any utility that works with Inject now will receive that transmission. So if you had, for example, the Cosmos thermal printer in your wallet, great. If you have the Icons app from the French twins, sure. Okay, Hydra. There are literally dozens and dozens and dozens of products that work with Inject, and all of them will right now receive whatever was searched in that product, which makes it once again very much analogous to the way that the traditional Google Peak works, in that somebody just does a search, it gets transmitted, and bada bing, here it is, right? So, and that's basically it. It's as simple as that. And then the only thing that I do at this point is that when that pop down appears there, I just slightly tilt my phone out of my pocket. I read at the top of the screen, which says magician, and I now know what the spectator has searched for, and I can turn around and very dramatically reveal to them whatever it is that they're thinking of. One of the other things that I like to do, which is something you might have seen in the video that I had before when I was performing for my daughter, is that I try to motivate why I have this Google Stats, or why I asked the spectator to do a search in Google Stats. And the way that I motivate it is I say, yeah, since it's showing you all this information about whatever you searched for, now please scroll down and tell me like what are the few countries, or what's the top one, first or second country that was interested in your topic, right? And they're going to say, yeah, the Philippines or New Zealand. Like, oh, and so at this point, you are motivating the Google search. You're saying because there's a piece of information that you need from the spectator, and that piece of information can be only acquired by the spectator actually doing a search within Google Stats that would give them basically that information. Okay. So that's pretty much it. That's the Google Peak in a nutshell, And I'm going to do this once again, starting completely from zero so you guys can see step by step by step exactly what's happening. So on the left-hand side, you could see that when the push notification from Inject came in, it has not disappeared off the top of the screen. And the reason why that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and swipe it off the top of the screen over here, is I have 8 new notifications. Yes, that's cool. Thank you. The reason why that notification did not disappear from the top of the screen is because if I switch over here to the settings, okay, and if I was to scroll down to the notifications, there we go. Actually, I'll do that here with the mouse so you guys can see what I'm doing. Notifications. And I'm going to scroll all the way down until I get to inject, which is right here, right? So select inject. And by default, in all of your notifications on an iPhone basically will be in a mode where the banner style. Oh, thank you. I think it's awesome too. You guys are actually typing like messages to me using inject. That's interesting. Right. Banner style. It says it's persistent, right? So that by default, actually, the banner style is set to temporary. And what that means is that whenever any kind of a notification, like an inject notification comes in, if your phone is actually on and you're looking at your phone, the push notification pops down from the top of the screen. It stays there for a short period of time, and then it disappears back up again, which would be bad if you didn't have a chance to actually peek at the information that you needed. You'll be like, oh, well, it's gone, right? And that's why I highly, highly recommend you just edit your notification settings and switch that over to persistent so that now it does that. Rick, if I could please have you mute your phone there for a second,
Oh,
or that's okay. I'll go ahead and mute you. I got you. There you go, brother. Hey, good to see you, Rick. Hello. All right. All right. Let me go ahead and mid all. Okay, so that's pretty much the setting that I recommend for you if you are going to be performing with the new ReaList Peak, because it just the notification appears and it disappears, right? A couple other things that are important is that this is a standard operating system notification. And what that means is that if your phone is off when the notification arrives, meaning not that it's off, but asleep, right? It means that if you have any kind of a hidden Bluetooth earpiece in your ear, it will actually tell you whatever the person has done a search for. And that is really easy to turn on iOS. Essentially, the only thing you have to do to turn that on is here in your settings of your iPhone, when you go to notifications, okay, you will notice that there is an option over here that says Siri announce notifications, and you notice that it's currently on. Okay, so that means that when you have any Bluetooth technology connected to your iPhone, when a notification comes in this case from Inject, it will actually say it in your earpiece, which is pretty cool. So if it's a hidden earpiece, without you having to peek at anything, you'll be able to hear what it is that someone has done a search for. And I'm sure that you've noticed that what makes the Google Peek as powerful as it is that you're never touching the phone. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this once again, starting completely from scratch. So take a look. I'm going to get rid of everything. Here on the right-hand side, I'm going to even get rid of our tabs over here. As a matter of fact, I'll go to the home page here on my iPhone. Home page. All right. So remember, this is the spectator's phone on the right-hand side. The left side is the magician's phone. So here we go. First, you're launching ReaList on your phone, right? There's ReaList, right? The only thing you do is hit the thumper button up on the top. When you do, you're going to notice that it says your pairing topic is video games, right? So now you put your phone in your pocket and you're ready to perform. So you ask the spectator to open any browser. Your spectator opens up Safari. You ask them to do a search for Google Stats. And notice I'm actually, in this case, going to misspell Google Stats. It doesn't matter because it still comes up, right? Yeah, you said, yeah, Google Stats selected, and it appears on the screen. And then you say to them, yeah, if you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, usually the last icon there says video games. So they go ahead and they scroll all the way to the bottom. They click on video games. And you can see over here, it says paired with multiple sessions because all of you guys now are doing this at the same time as me. So please refrain from doing a search right now. Okay. Somebody did a search for Rolly right now. Thanks. Okay. So at this point in time, your spectator just does a search for anything that they want. So they tap the top over here, which says enter a search term or a topic. So we'll type in the word rabbit. We hit enter, or they can also even hit the thing there. And you can see on the left-hand side, it says rabbit, right? And that's it. You never touched your spectator's phone, and suddenly whatever they had searched for in the Google Stats page appeared here on your phone. Okay, and it's literally that simple. Okay, so
Question.
yes.
Hi, Greg. Jimmy Zeilinger, longtime listener.
Hi, Jimmy.
When we're performing, how do we prevent if you're getting signals and messages from everybody across the country tuning in now, and we're performing, what prevents us when we're performing getting messages randomly across the country from other people performing?
Right, very, very good question. I'm glad, Jimmy, that you asked the question. So let me clarify exactly what's happening. Okay, so there is a very important piece of information that I have communicated with you, which is the topic of video games. Right. So let's go through right now, step by step, what the actual pairing technology in ReaList is and why it's so reliable and so fast. Right. So when you first launch ReaList, in the upper left-hand corner, if you click on the hamburger menu, it gives you access to your settings. When you go to your settings, if you scroll down the page, you'll notice that there is an area here that says topic pairing selection order. And like I said previously, everything in ReaList is very, very verbose. I mean, we designed it in a way so that you guys can actually read what is supposed to happen in the interface, or actually the interface communicates how everything works. So it says here, topic pairing selection order, topic closest to the top of the list will be given to you as remote pairing topics first, if available. All right. So, like I said, I like performing with video games, which means that the default topic, usually that's at the top of the page, is actually the topic of actors. So I'm just going to go ahead and move actors to the top of the page so you guys can see that, mainly because the list by default is actually in alphabetical order. Right. So if you've in no way changed your copy of ReaList, you'll notice that this list is in alphabetical order. But then, because of these little blue buttons that are on the left and right hand side, you're welcome to take the topic that you are interested in performing with, and you can move that up to the top of the list. So in my case, as you can see now, I moved video games to the top of the list, which means that I would prefer to perform with video games. All right, now coming back to Jimmy's question. Let's say that now, as I try to perform, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go back and I hit the thumper button. Okay. Let's say that the moment that I try to perform, someone prior to me, another magician in the world, had also launched ReaList and they had also liked using the video games topic, which means that let's say, for example, Joe grabbed video games and they're using it, which means the video games topic is not available for me to use. And what that simply means is that now, okay, oops, let me go ahead and admit everybody here. Okay, what's going to happen is that ReaList is going to just simply move down to the next item that's on your list. So you notice that in the list that we have sorted, we currently have actors as the second topic of pairing, right? So the only thing that would have happened is here, ReaList would have said, ask your spectator to select the topic actors because video game.
So it reserves it for you.
That's correct. That's correct. Very good. That's right, Jimmy.
How long of a reservation is that?
It's 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes. And that's why you can see in the lower
Okay.
right-hand corner here, there is a timer which is counting down from 10 minutes. And the reason why we reserve it actually for only 10 minutes is because if a user had accidentally left the thumper screen on and they had just simply walked away from their device, it would mean that at that point in time, they were
Yeah,
monopolizing that topic, right? Ad infinitum. And we can't have that happen. We can't have a
of
magician
course.
who accidentally just leaves the transmitter page open, monopolizing a topic. And that's the reason why we restrict it to 10 minutes.
Hey
Okay,
Greg, got a question.
sure.
I've done everything. I've paired with a spectator's phone, but when I want to search and type in rabbit, for example,
Uh-huh.
the screen doesn't change. Nothing even searches or anything. It just stays with rabbit in the search bar, and that's it.
Okay, yeah, if you try hitting the enter key again or the little blue magnifying glass again, it will do it. It'll do it. Yeah.
All right, brilliant. I'll give that a go. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. By the way, what you just experienced right now is something that we are looking into rectifying so that when you hit the entry key or the blue magnifying glass, it will instantly just show you the results. Okay, the reason why you are not seeing that immediately change over to the trends website is because it actually calls the inject servers and it's waiting for approval. What if all topics are reserved? We'll talk about that in just a moment. We've never seen all the topics reserved. Okay, we've only seen up to 4 topics reserved. So far, in
So,
the last 5 years that ReaList has existed, we have only seen 4 topics used in one time. Okay, it is almost impossible for you guys to hit all 12. If you do hit all 12, we even have an out in that as well. Okay, the interface actually tells you what that out is. Okay, but again, I'm going to reiterate to you, we've never seen it. And when I say we've never seen it, there has been circumstances where we've known that have been multiple magicians working in a venue where all of them are using ReaList at the same time. And even though all of them were using ReaList at the same time, we still maxed out at only 4 topics.
um,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
so let's say if it doesn't actually search, should I still be getting a inject notification?
Well, yeah, it will. It will generate the
Because
notification regardless.
yeah, it's been on that screen for the last since few minutes now,
Okay.
and not getting a notification.
Okay. Yeah. Well, later on, I'll take a look at it and we'll do it together.
All right,
I can
sweet. I
like address
appreciate that.
you in person. But yeah, and you saw me do it right now, and you noticed that
Yeah, yeah.
it worked immediately. And by the way, I don't have anything special running here on my end. I'm using Inject and Realist exactly the same way that you would be using it. Okay. So, but yeah,
Okay.
I'll look at it with you.
Thank
All
you.
right. So now that we've seen the basics of, how this works, let's talk about, some of the other cool things that you can do with the Realist Peak. First item that we should talk about is what if you
Hello,
wanted to have multiple
I'm really
people?
sorry to disturb you, Greg.
Yeah, as somebody's audio is on right now. So if you could please mute your
Yeah,
audio.
hello.
Hello.
Hello, Greg. Am I audible to you?
Yes. Yeah,
Uh,
please hang on so that let me explain whatever it is that I need to explain, and then
sure.
I'll open it up for questions.
I'm really sorry for that. I have raised my hand from like a few minutes. I thought you would notice, but anyways,
Okay.
no issues. You can continue.
Okay. All right. So here
I'll
we
ask
go.
my
All right. No problem. Yeah. It's pretty crazy when you got a lot of people at the same time. All right, here we go. So, what I'm gonna do now is let me go ahead and mute your microphone here. There. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Okay, so I'm still here on the Google Stats website, right? So let me again just do this from scratch, just so you guys can see step by step what's going on. We go to the thumper, and you can see that it still says video games, so the video games topic is still available, right? And I'm gonna do the same thing of doing a search for Google Stats. So remember, this is actually your spectator doing the search on their phone, and so they do, right? You ask them to scroll down and select the video games topic, which is now remember, this is the topic that we currently have, and for you, it might be totally different. Okay, so they select video games, and we can see that on the left-hand side, it says that it's paired with one session. But now I'm going to do something slightly differently. I'm going to switch out of what I was doing here with my realist page, and I'm simply going to launch Inject. Okay, and you'll see why here in just a moment. Now remember, you have asked multiple spectators to select the video games topic. All right. And now in Inject, I'm going to select the Google Peek, which is what normally you would use with a fake Google page for being able to see whatever somebody had done a search for. So now we are in the monitoring page, right? And it says listening for thumbs. Previously, what we saw was that as the push notifications were coming in, they simply come in as one at a time. Now, you're welcome to look at the history of your push notifications, but that's not very convenient. Whereas in contrast, if you actually are in the monitoring page in Inject, and if multiple people do a search here on the Google Stats page, then all of those will appear in the monitoring page. So let's give that a try. So for this, I'm going to type in the word first. Okay. So there's first. And you can see that it shows you first. And then also notice that there's people here that did a search for Tetris. There is first, right? There's another Tetris just because somebody is doing a force within the page. And we'll talk about the forcing abilities. There's somebody's name here because they went into the page and they did the search for their name, right? So you're noticing how if you are performing for, let's say, multiple people that are at a table and you have asked, let's say, Joe, I want you to look up any country. Linda, I want you to look up any actress, right? And then Cindy, I want you to look up any food, right? So just simply based on the content of what each person has been assigned to do, you would know which person looked up what information. Okay, just because you can see over here on the left-hand side that we are seeing a list of all of the transmissions coming in, which is just awesome. All right. Whenever you see the word Tetris popping up over here, it's because this is better than Google Peek. Yes, I believe so too. There's aspects of Google Peek. It has its pros and cons, we'll talk about that too, right? All right. So That's pretty much that, So yes, you can actually have multiple spectators doing searches on all of their phones, and you would get all of that information. This is also important for magicians that like to use Inject for pre-show. Okay, for mentalists that previously have used this tool for pre-show. You can do the same thing with the Realist Peak. You would have multiple spectators that are doing searches on their phones on your phone that could be sitting. Greg, you have 700 texts. So, okay, cool. Yes. For your phone that could be sitting, for example, in the green room with the monitoring page running, you're noticing here that basically everything that your spectators had done a search for would appear. Obviously, your phone doesn't have to be in the green room. It can just simply be in your pocket running, and it's still going to work. Okay. So that's pretty much that. This ability of receiving multiple transmissions instead of only receiving a single transmission. All right, so the next thing I'm going to show you guys is probably my favorite way of using the new Realist Peak or prediction. And that is when we're going to use it as a way of making predictions. Now, the reason why this is my favorite way of using it is because the magician has to do absolutely nothing. Yeah, and when I say nothing, I mean there is no peek, there is no swiping, there is nothing. And I'm going to run you through this step by step so you can see how this works. All right. So first, you launch, obviously, Realist here on your phone. Okay. After you launch Realist on your phone, all you're going to do is you tap the thumper button, and it tells you that your force topic or in your pairing topic is video games, and you're ready to proceed. All right. So now I'm going to bring up a browser. Okay, let's say, for example, we bring up Chrome over here. Okay. I'm going to make Chrome window really tiny just so that I can have two of these windows open at the same time. And so what this is going to represent all the way on the right-hand side over here is just any spectator's phone. So the routine I'm about to highlight for you right now is done with two borrowed spectators' phones. So if you want to perform only for one person, I recommend that you just do the Google Peak. But if there's multiple people involved, then what I'm about to show you right now is amazing. So you borrow the first spectator's phone. You say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do a quick Google image search for something on your phone. And the only thing that you do is you type in your inject URL into their phone. And when you do, it opens up your our previous fake Google page, right? Which is no longer a fake Google page. And in this case, you are now welcome to make this page into any kind of a receiver that you want. Okay, so if I was to tap images, it means that whatever is transmitted to this page would be an image search. If I leave it on the default of all, it means that whatever's transmitted to it would be an all search. If I tap the 3x3 grid here in the upper right-hand corner, I can choose a variety of different types of receivers. And you can see those receivers are American Amazon, Yahoo, Maps, YouTube, IMDb, Wikipedia, right? Which means that you can create routines where if the routine motivates a search in Amazon, all you would do is you would just click on this empty space that's below Amazon. And we're going to go ahead and make that highlight that in a moment, I should say in the next iteration, so you'll know that you've selected Amazon. But Amazon now is selected, and this is now an Amazon receiver. But I'm going to go ahead and go back and just make this be an image receiver. Okay? So now we're ready to rock. So the only thing that happens now is you do this prediction. You say, okay, I did an image search. You leave their phone face down, right? And also because you have interacted, meaning you've tapped on their screen, you have automatically turned on the no sleep technology that's in Inject, which means that the spectator's phone is not going to fall asleep on you in the middle of this performance. So you ask any other spectator to do a search for Google Stats. So take a look. Remember, this is already running in your pocket, right? So over here, I'm going to, again, just clear this all out so you can see step by step what's happening. The spectator does a search for Google Stats. There it is. They go to the Google Stats website. You say, yeah, scroll to the bottom of the page, select video games, and they go to the bottom and they select video games. All right. Now remember, you've already told your spectators that you have made a prediction here, which is on the right-hand side, for something that's going to happen in the future, and you're committed to it, and you can't change your mind. So now you say to the spectator, well, I chose video games, which is a topic that I'm interested in, but I want you to do a search for any topic you like. Okay. So let's say, oh, now in this case, notice that somebody just went in and did a search for Magic Square, right? And that's the reason why right now, on the right-hand side, Magic Square has appeared as a image search on that spectator's phone. And not only is that transmission been done to that spectator's phone, it also obviously appears as the push notification on the left-hand side, which is just for you to be able to peek if you wanted to peek. But since I promised you guys that we were going to be able to do this without you having to do anything, that's really what happens. Remember, this phone, the left phone, which is in my pocket, does absolutely nothing. It's just in my pocket, right? The only thing that I've done is I just launched the thumper or the transmitter just so I can see what my pairing topic is, you know, and that's it. And so that I can tell my spectator which topic they should go to. And if you were to follow the script of what I just did, yeah, spectator, go, you do your fake Google page on any phone, leave that face down, and you ask another spectator without touching their phone to do a search for Google Stats, select the topic, pairing topic, and they do a search for whatever they want, and whatever they search for will appear as a search here on the right-hand side. So that's how you use it as a prediction system, right? And then, of course, what we said before about how it can work with any of the utilities that work with Inject. As a prediction, of course, it doesn't matter if you have like a Cosmos wallet or any of the other utilities. It's still going to work as well because now that prediction will either print using the thermal printer or it will appear in your icons if you've got the icons app from the French twins or blah, 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 whatever. Or Hydra, so it's all good. All right. So that's the prediction, right? I'm going to open it up for a few questions before I jump into the next topic. So anybody got
Hello.
any questions?
Hey,
Yeah, hello.
Greg.
Okay,
Hello,
so
hello.
Sabyachi, Sahu, go
Sabyasachi.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay. You can call me Saho.
All right. Hi, Sahu.
Yeah. Hello, Greg.
Hi.
Good afternoon, first of all. Sorry, it's morning there. Sorry. Good morning, Greg. How are you doing?
Hi. Hello.
So my question is, currently I'm not an iPhone user. I cannot afford an iPhone in India. So I use Android. So currently the inject version, the current inject versions are not working in Android 11, sorry, 12, 13 or 14, 14. It's working Android 11 or below.
That's
So have
correct.
you thought about it? Yes. Have you thought about it? Because we cannot have Android 11s anymore. So
Yes, yes. No, I understand. Let me stop you there for a moment. We are trying to get Inject up and running on new Android operating systems. Google has made it almost impossible to submit new apps to the Google Play Store. If you talk to any of the developers that currently develop Magic apps, and one of the reasons why so many developers are giving up on the Android platform is because Google has made it practically impossible to get any app approved. Okay, we are actually in awe and wonder that there are any apps on the Google Play Store because of how difficult it is to get past it. And it's especially hard for Magic apps, mainly because Magic apps are meant to be deceptive in some way. So Google's restrictions on apps is making it difficult to get approval. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but we're currently working on a way of, basically appeasing Google because Google is the gatekeeper. They're the lords and the gods of this world. And if they don't want your app to be on the App Store, then your app is not going to be on the App Store. And there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm sorry. I know that you're an Android user, but we just have to constantly fight Google until we get approval on the App Store.
I hope you figure out any way to fix this.
I hope so too. Yeah. Tell
Thank you
Google
for
to
your
stop
time.
being so anal retentive. Sorry about my French, but There was a time that Google was really, really just lenient and it was easy and you would submit an app in less than an hour, it was approved and everything was good. And just because of the architecture and so many people abusing Google and the Android operating system, the entire platform was so unstable and it was constantly being attacked. So now Google has pushed the pendulum completely in the opposite direction, where they are just over the top, so extreme, that's yeah, you just can't get an app approved. But yeah, we'll get it for you. Don't worry. We're working on it. I really want
Yeah.
to support my Android customers. I really do. It's my priority to be able to get that up and running for you guys. So we will.
Thank you so much, Greg,
Welcome.
for your answer. Yeah.
Hello, Reg.
Have a
All right. Somebody else has a question.
Yeah, hello. So,
Hi.
so actually, I am quite new user of Inject, and just after 2-3 days, when I got used to Lazy Inject, the app got banned, and
Right.
like it was my first trick with Inject, and it was very easy to do and very impactful. And I bought a Apple Watch, so it was connected to my watch, and like my spectators always go crazy about how did I know that, and that
Yeah.
Google Dash images is very common in India, so people very got often used to it. But this Google stats is not very common in India. So, is there any chance in future that Lazy Inject will come back or not? Like,
Yes. Yeah. You didn't see the beginning of my presentation. Yes, we're gonna bring back the Google pages. We're working on basically hosting with a different place, different platform, and many other things that will guarantee that what happened previously with Google's intervention will never happen again. Yeah. So the answer is yes, it's coming back. To answer the question regarding Google Stats and it not being known, okay, let me address that with a feature that's within Google Stats that many of you are not familiar with, and that's actually the Google Trends part of Google Stats. Okay, so let me show you exactly what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this just so that we don't have any confusion here on the screen. All right. So remember that what you are seeing, oh wow, there's like these blue dots on the screen. That's probably because I have some kind of a thing turned on, annotation turned on. Turn that annotation off. Oh my God, how do I turn that off? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, you can draw on the screen. Not good. Oh my God.
Greg, by the way, what is the address of the API?
I don't know. I don't know what the API address is.
So we
You're gonna,
can't.
you're gonna like Joshua. If you ask Joshua Riley, he'll tell you.
So we can't read out the data from the inject stats from the Google Stats ReaList.
Yeah, yeah, you can. You can. It's exactly the same as it is from Inject.
Okay.
It's exactly the same, and that's the reason why what I transmitted just transmits into the Inject world.
Great. Thank you.
Sure, sure, you're welcome. But yes, it does. It works. All right. So we were going to talk about how you can have the Google Trends part of Google Stats. Now, I'm certain that not everybody in the world is going to be familiar with Google Trends, but the word Google Trends is obviously more ubiquitous and more common than the word Google Stats, right? So here's the way you do that. If you go to the spectator's phone by actually interacting with their phone, here's what you'll do. Okay. If on the left-hand side, I'm gonna just switch back over to ReaList. And I can see that currently my ReaList pin is the number 448. Okay. So you borrow a spectator's phone. So remember, the phone that's right now in the middle of the screen is a spectator's phone. And you're now touching the spectator's phone. And what you're going to type into their address bar is gstats.us/ and your number, 448. Okay. And watch what happens on the screen. There you go. Notice that what it just opened right now for us is a website called trends-google.com. notice that the only difference between trends-google.com and trends.google.com is the single character of either a dot or a dash. There's nothing else that's different. Normally, what would happen is that where it says, where you see where it says explore what the world is searching now, below it, you would see a list of the current trending topics. The reason why you don't see that right now is because there was a big change that Google made yesterday, pardon me, the day before yesterday, to the way that they serve this information to us. And that caused a big problem where, Google stats went down and ReaList went down. And then we have to fix that. So yes, probably by the end of the day today, we are going to get that nice list of the trending topics that will appear below this list as well. But the good news is that this is now identical to the Google Trends website. Okay, it says trends here at the top. If you were to scroll to the bottom, notice at the bottom it even says Google Trends. So the colors that are here, the animation of the bar graph that's here, everything that's here is essentially made to resemble the Google Trends website. Okay. And obviously the utility of it works the same way, which means that if I go into the enter a search term or a topic over here and I type in whatever, let's say I type in yellow, okay, hit enter, okay, you can see that it's going to do the same thing. It's going to do a search here for the word yellow. And on the left-hand side, which is the magician's phones, there is the word yellow that just popped down from the top of the screen as a push notification. Right? Which means you have told your spectators that you're going to the Google Trends website. You show them that you are in the Google Trends website. You give the phone back to them. You have them do a search for any topic that they want. And exactly like the Google Peak, it will be transmitted here to you on the left-hand side, or in this case, your phone in your pocket. Okay? And that is just awesome. There is another big advantage of doing this when you are actually interacting with the spectator's phone. You probably noticed that here on the left-hand side, I did not have to go into my Thumper page to get ready for anything. Okay, and that's mainly because the reason why you would go into the Thumper page is for ReaList to give you your pairing topic so you can, wirelessly, without touching the spectator's phone, pair with them, right? But in this case, since I was actually handling the spectator's phone, I didn't have to worry about that. Because all I did is I just typed in my ReaList ID, followed, gstats.us / my current pin, which in this case is 448, and I was in. Okay. I'm also going to show you another way of doing that where you very openly go to the Google Stats website in front of your spectators and you actually input the number 448 right in front of them without them knowing that you've inputted the number 448. And so here's the way that that works. So once again, the phone that's in the middle of the screen right now represents the spectator's phone, right? Here we go. First, you ask the spectator to do a search for Google Stats. So there's that, right? You tell them to click on the first link that they see for Google Stats, and now they're on the page, okay? At this point, you take their phone from them for just a moment as you're going to show them the contents that are of this page. Now remember, your current pin right now is the number 448, which means that's the only thing that I remember as I approach this performance. Now, on the spectator's phone, when you take their phone, you tap or do a diagonal swipe either from the lower right or the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Now, before I do that, I want you to notice the small exclamation point that's here in that speech bubble that's in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. So the moment that I tap on that, you can see that that little exclamation point disappeared. That means that now I am going to be able to input my current pin while I'm scrolling down the page. In the action of scrolling down the page, I'm going to be inputting the number 448. If you're wondering how that works, let's take a look. In the bottom over here, you'll notice that there's a number that says 1,807,000, right? Watch what happens when I start scrolling up and down the page. Notice that that number now has changed. It starts from 0. Now remember, I have to input the number 448. I scrolled up a little bit. and I let up on my finger. That was, I just input the number 4. Let's do that again. I scroll up again. Now you notice that it understands that the first digit has been input. So now it's on the second digit. That's a 4. So again, I let up on my finger. And then the last digit is an 8. So again, I scroll up until it becomes an 8. I let up on my finger. And now I have input the number 448 right under the noses of all of your spectators while you were showing them the contents of the Google Stats website. Okay, so right now I'm in my account. It doesn't look like anything has changed on the screen, but something huge just happened. Right now, Google Stats understands that this is Greg Rostami's account, and by me just simply doing that scrolling gesture, I'm now paired with that account. So at this point, if you wanted to have your spectator go to the top and do a search for a topic, you could, and it will actually transmit over here on the left-hand side. But we're going to do something even more sneaky than that. The moment that you do this, after you put in that 448, go ahead and tap the hamburger menu here in the upper left-hand corner. And watch what happens when you tap on that hamburger menu. Boom. It just changed the trends, right? And so now, even though you started from the Google Stats website, now it's just on the trends website. So this is something that you can either be doing to your spectators openly, if you have a pattern that covers that, or as we saw before, it's something that you could be doing secretly, while you actually type in gstats.us/ whatever your current PAN is. But at the end of the day, at this point in time now, if your spectator types in something into, let's type in the word something, into the search field, okay, you'll notice that the word something has been searched for here on the right-hand side. And on the left-hand side, something was just pushed over to the magician's phone. Yes, that is so cool.
Hey, Greg, I have a quick question.
Yeah, Rick.
Last week when you put up the ReaList peak for the first time, the video,
Yeah.
I tried it. They tried it. It worked out perfect. They searched for something, and on their phone, you see the way it has like how many times this has been searched for. Has a little graph. I did it a little while later, and they searched for something, and basically the page didn't have anything on it.
Right. It was like some kind of a Google error page, right?
Yes.
Yes. We fixed that
Exactly.
yesterday. We fixed that yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's called the 429 error.
Yeah, it was like nothing found or
Yeah.
nothing at all.
Yeah. It's gone.
Okay.
You
Perfect.
never have to worry about that again. Thank God.
Yay. Thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So that's that, and then I want to finish off what we're doing here today, before I open it up for more questions. In general, just talking about, what is ReaList? ReaList is a forcing utility. So I'm gonna basically finish it up just by showing you a typical performance of ReaList. Okay. So we got, again, remember that the phone that is here on the right represents the spectator's phone. The phone on the left represents the magician's phone. Let me get rid of this tab that's over here. The only thing that you are doing on your phone here on the left is you tap the thumper button and you're ready to perform. Okay? And oh, notice what just happened right now. Somebody else has snagged the the video games topic, which means that now the ReaList app knows that. So therefore, it went simply down to the next item on my list, which is actors. So now, again, I don't sweat it. I just look at the top of the screen. It says actors. And now I know that I'm going to be performing with the actors topic. So I say to the spectator, yeah, do a search on your phone for Google Stats. Okay. Remember, you're never going to touch the spectator's phone. They do a search for Google Stats, and then, they're going to select it, and they select it. Say, yeah, this is the famous website from Google. It shows you all the popular searches that are going on in the world. Explore what the world is searching. So yeah, if you scroll down the page, you'll notice there's an area there that says recently trending topics. And usually there's like the first icon that's there is like Tom Cruise. Again, please notice the word usually, and it just subliminally implies to your spectators that you're not religiously familiar with this website, so it just makes it feel a little bit more nonchalant. So now they select actors, right? Now, the moment that your spectator selects actors, that spectator's phone is now connected to you. All right. You are basically paired with that spectator. And so now we can see on the left-hand side, which is the magician's phone, by default, the force actor in the actor's topic is Tom Hanks. You are welcome to change not only the force item, you can change the forced number of searches, the actual icon that appears on the right-hand side of Tom Hanks. Everything that is on this page over here, that is on the right-hand side, is 100% under your control. As a matter of fact, something else that's really important that's currently under your control right now is the text here that you see in the preamble. The text is something that you type in and in the settings of ReaList. Now, you probably have noticed that all of the words that are currently in this text are words that are less than 8 or 9 characters. As a matter of fact, there are only 8 words that are in this text right now that are big words. So for those of you who are familiar with like any book test, like in this particular case, I'm using the words that are in the famous Glance book test or the Glance magazine test. So as you can see over here, it says here, yet some fail heartbreakingly when they lose hope. So obviously the word heartbreakingly is a large word, or the word thoughtlessly is a large word. So the preamble text area of ReaList is a great way for you to be able to hide a book test when your spectators visit any one of these topics. So you can do performances where there's multiple, hits that you can get. You can read their mind with a book test as well as now doing a force. So let's go ahead and do a force. So the actor, they've come to the actors topic. You say, yeah, I know they're the top famous 100 actors of all time. My favorite actor is Tom Hanks. Could not get enough of Forrest Gump. Did a lot of crying, right? So you say, yeah, we're going to randomly select an actor. So please just name any random number between 1 and 100, right? Now remember, your phone, which is the phone that you see here on the left-hand side, is currently in your pocket, and this is now the swipe input method. And so now your spectator says the number 36, right? So here we go swiping. There's the 3, there's the 6, and now I just forced the number 36, pardon me, Tom Hanks, to be moved to item number 36 wirelessly on the spectator's phone. Also notice that over here, obviously it generated that notification that's coming from Inject because it just takes whatever was the last transmission to ReaList and it transmits that as an Inject notification as well. So now here on the right, if I was to scroll down to item number 36, guess who we're going to find on 36? There he is, Tom Hanks. Okay, just to show you how fast this is and how it changes on the screen. Okay, I'm going to now input a different number. Let's say I want to input the number 37. So here we go. Here's a 3. Here's a 7. Boom, I'm done. Now 36 is no longer Tom Hanks. 37 now is Tom Hanks. And without ever touching your spectator's phone, you are controlling every part of these pages. So not only have you forced the force item in this particular topic, which is the actor's topic, you have actually caused every other topic that is in Google Stats to have their force item moved to 37 as well. So for example, Julia Roberts is the force actress under the actress category. If I select actress, okay, so let me get rid of the Tom Hanks that's there. And if I scroll down on number 37, did you see how Julia Roberts just popped up from the top of the screen there? And that's because just by me switching over to a different topic, it actually takes whatever is the force item for that topic and it transmits that to Inject as well. And the way that you can use this is you can ask your spectators to scroll down to the bottom of the page and to select any topic that they want and for them not to tell you what topic they have selected. So let's say, for example, the spectator scrolls to the bottom and they select movies. Okay, so watch how cool this is. Now, remember, you have no idea that they have selected movies, right? They go ahead and they select movies. Now, remember, we have done a force in the actors topic for Tom Hanks, right? Which was on item number 37. Now that the spectator is on movies, I'm just waiting for that, thing to pop in from the top of the screen, but I think I ran out of my timer. 37. Yeah, unfortunately, my time ran out. Yes, like for example, if I was to force King Kong on 22, yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to show up right now. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. But that's basically how that works, is that when your spectators change from one topic to the other, okay, it will transmit that topics or the force item that was in that topic to your phone as well. So you would know basically what topic they have selected. And that's it. That's basically how Realist works, is that you can pair with your spectator's phone and force whatever you want to them without ever touching it. And it works,
Hey,
of course, across everybody's phone at the same time. That means you can have multiple spectators, and everybody that follows your instructions would be able to see that force. Yes, you have a
Greg,
question.
yeah, yeah, this is Jeff Atkin. I just wanted to share a tip here regarding the force item within any of the topics, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've noticed that if your force item, like let's say in this example, Tom Hanks,
Uh-huh.
is the same as any one of the 100 items in your list,
Uh-huh.
Tom Hanks will appear twice.
Yes, that's
I
true. It will. It will appear twice.
so
Uh-huh.
so what I do is I make my force item intentionally something that's not any one of the force items, because when I first started using ReaList and I
Uh-huh.
chose one of the items as the force item, for whatever reason, the two items came out pretty close together in the list, and
Right. Right.
it was easy to notice that, hey, Tom Hanks is number 37, but look, it's also number 39.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
so I stay away from that. I
Yeah.
suggest making the force item one of the items not on the list.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's a great tip. By the way, one of the ways that you can also remedy this is that if you are scrolling down a page, let's say, for example, you come to the actors topic, right? And you want to force a different actor. Let's say you want to force Al Pacino, right? You notice that next to each item that you have on the list, there's a little bubble. If you click on that bubble, now it means that you have selected that actor to be your force actor. So now if I hit the back button over here, okay, you'll notice that now it says that for actors, right on the main interface, that Al Pacino is now your force actor. As a matter of fact, there are many magicians that perform realist where they on the fly decide what to force onto their spectators. So let's say, for example, a magician does a center tear and they can see the name of someone, from doing a center tear, like the name of a loved one or someone who is deceased or whatever else, whatever your pattern happens to be, right? So now, while the magician is pretending like they're answering, let's say, a text message, they would have a topic in Realist which is called common names, right? Because remember, in Realist, you can make any kind of a list you want. Okay, you don't have to stay with the lists that are there, right? So what you could do is you can go and edit that common names topic where you would type in the name of the person that you just peaked from doing the center tear under the force item. And so now when the spectators, choose a number, let's say they say 71 and they scroll down, they'll see the person that the original person that had written it down on the paper appear at their number. By the way, it goes even deeper than that. Okay, here's one last one that I'll throw at you, which is really, really cool. If under the force item, you put in the word inject, followed by, I believe it's a colon and whatever your inject ID is, whatever was your last transmission in inject, either from the fake Google page, which doesn't exist right now, or from anything else, that item will actually be in the force. So there is a lot of integration that's between inject and realist, so that you can take advantage of.
Hey,
Yeah, and
Greg,
all of this, pardon me, go ahead.
sorry about that. Greg, hi, it's David. Hi.
Hi, David.
First of all, I'm a big fan. Love this. I've been using the Realist Peak now regularly. It's awesome. I have one question, if it's possible, and that is if you do a force on an item, but you have a second spectator's phone face down with your Google, it'll show the force item on that
Yeah,
lazy inject screen as opposed to the next search, which is on the search bar. It would be ideal, obviously, to search to force something as a fun prelude, and then be able to on that second screen show what is searched as your prediction. But
right.
it's not able to do that because it's showing the forced item. Is there a
Yeah,
solution
yeah.
for that?
Yeah, David, I read your post that you had on Facebook, and I want to tell you that I really very seriously considered implementing this. So Matt and I and Gordon talked about implementing this. Um, here's yeah, it's obviously possible to do anything, right? The problem is that what you're talking about is a situation where there is a first you're performing a force, right? And then after that force, you want to be able to do the reveal that whatever's going to be that's either going to go to a wallet or on another spectator's phone or whatever, right? Just by offsetting these based on time, you could remedy that situation already, you know? So we have to every time we implement a feature, we have to like really think about this is something that we have to explain to everybody because now it becomes a different mode. Because now there's going to be some mode where whatever happens in the realist world is being transmitted to inject, which is the way that it works currently, right? And now suddenly there's a different mode, which is the David Rosenfeld mode, right? Which is, oh, whatever is what you do a force for will not be transmitted to inject. And the only thing that will be transmitted to inject is whatever is actually typed into a search field, right? And so that's one of the reasons why we just have to kind of like be careful whenever we implement features because the number of features just keep growing and growing and growing, and we have to explain that to everybody. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not going to do it, David, okay? I'm just saying that we have to implement it in a way that is going to work cohesively within everything else, and we can easily explain it to everybody. As it is, things are already complicated, so.
For anyone who's curious about this, the workaround for anyone who's curious how to do this, the workaround is just make your prediction after the force.
Yeah,
Meaning
that's it.
force your celebrity, and then say, now we're going to take this one step further, get someone else's phone, then put down there your
That's
inject
it.
page. So
You got it.
it works. There is a solution.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's simply
Excellent.
the solution is just time, meaning that yeah, you do your prediction, you're already done with the prediction, and then as the second phase, you borrow the other spectator's phone, you type in your inject URL, and you proceed, right? And so that's it. Yeah, by simply having that time, then you can do exactly what you want to do. But it's not going to be like you're not going to be able to start your performance by doing a prediction on the spectator's phone and leaving that face down and then coming back to that later, Yeah, that's it. But David, thank you for asking. Thank you. All right. We've been at this now for about an hour, 11 minutes, and I want to see if there's anybody else that has any questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Greg, what was that URL using the current pin?
Say that one more time. I heard current pin, but what did you say?
Yeah, what's the URL before you're adding your current
the
pin?
URL, right.
Yeah.
If you would like to go to the trends page, the
Yeah.
URL is simply gstats.us. And you notice that immediately opens trends-google.com. It's already in your account. You can see at the top here, it says trends. Yeah, gstats.us.
That's great, Greg. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It works
Greg,
great.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
We're back on the pairing topics.
Mhm.
How do you know if that changes before you actually start using it, or as long as you have time down there on it, is it still yours?
As long as you got the time down there, it's still yours. And so the moment that you go into it, it tells you what it is. So the only thing that I do is when I hit the thumper button, I look to see what my pairing topic is. In this case, it says actors. And that's it. I already know that actors is my pairing topic. And I already know here that I got 10 minutes to do it.
Okay, so somebody can't jump in on top of it, or somebody won't jump in on top
It's
of it.
impossible. It's
Okay.
literally impossible. Like right now, for example, if you have a copy of ReaList and you went into your settings and you made sure that you forced actors to be at the top of the list, and then you went into the thumper, you would notice that it's not going to give you actors. It's impossible for it to give you actors because I have actors right now. It's right there. I have it. I have it for the next 9 minutes and 13 seconds.
Another quick question too is when you were doing the forcing a while ago with the number 37 and then it stopped on you, still had time down there. How long do you have for that?
Yeah, I
To
don't
go into different to go into different topics, like you force 37 here, and then you go into okay, what's the actor, what's the actress, whatever, you know.
Yeah. I'm going to do this for you just so that, you can see that this works confidently across that entire period of time.
Oh, I know. I
Uh,
tried it out at work, but it stopped
yeah.
on you a while ago. It stopped, and you still
Yeah,
had
yeah,
time on
yeah.
your.
I'm not exactly sure why, I'll look into it, but what I can tell you is that in performance, most of the time you're going to be doing it just with, a single topic and you're done. One of the other things that people do oftentimes with Realist is that they will do like multiple predictions from a single number, and that's, as you know, is really easy to do. And here's what I mean by that. Let's say I go in and I go into my thumper here. Okay, here we are on the thumper. I got video games again. So whoever was using video games, they stopped. So now I got it again. So now you ask your spectator to do a search for Google Stats. There we go. They go to Google Stats. All right. And you have them scroll down and select video games. And so now imagine that on a piece of paper, you had written Tom Hanks playing Tetris in Tokyo. Okay. So there are three pieces of information that you have written on a piece of paper. So now you're in video games. You say to your spectator, give me any random number between 1 and 100. And they say, I don't know, 34. So here is 34, right? Boom, there's 34. By the way, if you ever wondered what the numbers that are at the bottom of Realist mean, let me tell you exactly what these numbers mean. First of all, the number 1 million is always going to be 1 million. That never changes. That one is always there. The number 448 that you see in the 448,000, that is your current pin. So if you are just practicing Realist, then you can easily look at that number down at the bottom and it confirms to you that yes, it's actually my pin. I'm paired with this phone, right? And then finally, notice how remotely I entered the number 34. And as a matter of fact, you can see on the actual Realist screen down at the bottom over here, it says forced 34. So there is feedback that's on the screen that tells you that this is as work. Can you set persistent notifications? Yes, we did. We talked about persistent notifications already in the settings prior. Yes, before you might.
Sorry, Greg. It didn't show the entire question. You didn't talk about it on Android and the voice notifications as well.
Yeah, on the Android operating system, I have an Android phone that I use here for development. Okay, and for some strange reason, I have no idea how you get Android phones to actually display notifications on the screen. I've seen Android phones that have a little dot that appears on the notification. I know that you can like swipe down to see a notification, but and I know that there's probably like apps or utilities that actually display notifications. And because it's so just on the Android world, it's so different from device to device. But I don't, in all honesty with you, I have no idea how on Android you get a notification to persistently stay on the screen. I'm really sorry, but I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry,
I,
Larry.
I got one more, Greg.
Sure.
When you bring when inject comes back, will that also make enhanced inject come back with
Oh, of
glitch?
course.
So
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
so we can do realist. They can click the bottom, and it'll go to the page, and start.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
perfect.
Rick.
Yeah, that was like one of the best. I used to love that. I'm still
I
promoting.
know, I know. I love it too. I love
Yeah.
it too. So it's such a good trick, you know.
Okay, thanks again.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So we were doing, Tom Hanks playing Tetris in Tokyo, right? So on the right hand side, remember we input the number 34, right? If you look at the 100s position here and the ones position, okay, at the lower right hand corner of the spectator's phone, you're going to see the number that you just forced. Now, the reason why we didn't put the numbers side by side was because, I felt that it would be kind of obvious if the spectator said 34 and they would see like literally the number 34 over there. And that's why I just like moved it apart by a single digit. So it's not so obvious, right? That's why it says 354. All you do is just ignore whatever the digit is that's in the tens position. That's 34. So now if I scroll down to item number 34 here on this list, guess what? We're going to see Tetris, and there it is. There's Tetris, right? Then also, if I was to switch categories, let's say I go to the actors category. Guess go all the way down to bottom, select actors, and I go to item number 34 on the list. Oh, in this case, it's Al Pacino because we just changed it to Al Pacino, but that's okay. You guys get the idea, right? So there's 34 and there's Al Pacino. You can see that it actually shows me that it's Al Pacino there. And then finally for the city, I believe that my fourth city currently is Rome. In my example, I said Tokyo, but it's actually Rome. So you go down, you select the cities topic. So cities is right there. And this is, of course, this is a spectator doing all of this. So the spectator selects cities, they go down to their number, which is 34, and they're going to see the fourth city there, which should be Rome. And there it is. Oh, Paris. Sorry. I change this so often for people that I teach that I forget. I'll show you that it's actually Paris over here because if I do this and I hit the back button, you'll notice that it says right here that the cities, the fourth item actually is Paris. So that's correct. So that's one of the nice things about how whenever you do a force in one topic, it stays persistent across all of the topics that are in ReaList. And then finally, if you currently don't have your phone, so let's say, for example, your phone is dead, right? So assume no phone at all. So what I'm going to do is like, let's say, just put the phone away, all right? And all you've got is a spectator's phone. So if all you have is a spectator's phone, you can actually perform ReaList even if your phone is dead. So here's the way you do it. Please keep in mind that your current ReaList pin is currently 448, right? So you borrow the spectator's phone, and you got two different ways you can either do this. You can either just type in googlestats.com/448. That's one way of doing it. Now you are in your account. You're ready to perform. So you ask them to go to the bottom of the page, and you can ask them to select any topic you want. It doesn't matter. So let's say they want animals. So let's say we go ahead and select animals. Now I already know that the force animal is chinchilla. So at this point, if you're doing a performance that's super fast and you don't want to write things down or you don't want a big prediction, all I say to the spectators is that, the animals topic, my favorite animal is chinchilla. I just love chinchillas. They're so cute, right? So that's the information that you've given your spectators before you start. And at this point, you ask your spectator to name any random number between 1 and 100. And so now we're going to be using the scroll input method to secretly input the number from the spectator right under their noses on their phone. So by either tapping the lower right or the lower left-hand corner of the web page, it activates the scroll input method. And you will know that you're in the input method because the little exclamation point, which is in the speech bubble in the upper right-hand corner, will disappear. So here we go. We tap it or do a diagonal swipe, the exclamation point has disappeared. The spectator names a number. Let's say the spectator says number 71, right? So watch. I'm now looking at the 100s position here and the bottom where it says 1 million, blah, 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 terms indexed. As I move my finger up and down the screen, I can see that that number changes. Remember, the spectator has said the number 71. So first, when that number reaches a 7, all I do is I let up on my finger. Now I'm going to scroll again. And usually in my pattern as I'm doing this, is I say to them, now you notice the Google Stats website, it shows you all this different information about whatever topic you're interested in. In this case, it's showing us information about animals. Now watch, as I continue to scroll up, now, when I get to 9 and it rolls over to 0, actually after 0, it rolls over to 1, 2, and even 3, which is just awesome. So it allows you to do this big swipe until you can get to the 1 there. And I let up on my finger and I just forced chinchilla onto item number 71. Let me first of all show you that it's there on 71. And I did it on the spectator's phone, even though my phone is dead. There's chinchilla right there. There is nothing else that's a forcing utility in the world that allows you to do what I just did right there. Borrowed phone, jump in at any time, anywhere. You can force whatever you want. And everything that's on this list is actually under your control. Yes. Any questions before we're reaching an hour and a half now, so I'm going to stop here pretty soon.
Hi, Greg.
Hi.
I've got Inject and ReaList. My ReaList account doesn't appear to be connected to my Inject. So the features where it sends the notifications and things,
Oh,
they're not
yes.
connected. It's
Oh,
probably a
I
simple
am
thing, but I can't find it.
and by the way, my friend, I am so glad that you brought that up. That was going to be a very important part of this discussion that is a part of the setting up of all of this that I had completely left out. So let's go ahead and talk about exactly how you set it up. Thank you for that question. So here, on the magician's phone, so let's go ahead and put the spectator's phone away. All right. So on the magician's phone, you can see that all you do to set it up is you tap the hamburger menu that's in the upper left-hand corner. You're going to go to your settings. Okay. Scroll down. And you're going to see an area that says three things. It says first, link text, link URL, and link image URL. All right. So for link text, you don't have to worry about it. That was a feature that worked with our fake Google page. So you don't need it. Of course, link image URL, once again, you don't need it because it's the URL for an image that can appear as an icon at the bottom of the Google Stats page. The most important part of the integration between Inject and ReaList is this part right here that says link URL. And you must, and I'll say that word again, must type this in exactly the way that you see it here. It is https:// Google, which is google.com/ and then your Inject ID. And of course, my Inject ID is the number 2. And that's it. That's the only thing that you have to have there. And when that is there, it is set up so that the ReaList peak will work. That's literally all you do. And then, of course, and when you're done, you hit the back button and you're ready to rock and roll.
Lovely. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Short question: the number or the name we have as alias from Inject?
It can be either. Actually, it can be just your ID, your real ID. It doesn't have to be your number. So if you changed your ID to be, let's say, John, then sure. You would just type in John. You don't have to type your number.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Greg, Larry here, still on Android.
Hi, Larry.
And when I go to Chrome and type in Google Stats, and I did it both as 2 words and as 1 word, I'm not seeing Google Stats on that front page at all. I do see the trends.
What is your search engine, sir?
I'm using Chrome.
Right. Yeah, you're using Chrome, but is the search engine Google?
Yes.
It is. Okay. So here, let me just show you. I'm going to show it to you in a couple different places here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and launch Chrome here for you. Okay. So let me bring back my phone. So here's my phone right there, right? Here is Chrome. I'm going to do a search for Google Stats. Hit go. And you can see that the first thing that's there is Google Stats.
Huh.
So you type in the word Google Stats and you don't see it on the first page of Google.
That's correct. Let me
Okay.
do it again.
If you could please just do this. Just go to google.com. Remind me of your name once again, sir. Pardon me.
Yeah, this is Larry Darbone.
Oh, hi, Larry. Yeah, pardon me. Pardon me. Hi,
Yeah, no
Larry.
problem.
Yeah. Just in Chrome, just go to google.com. Okay. And then
Okay.
once you're in google.com, in the Google search field, do a search for Google Stats and then hit enter.
Yeah, there I've got it.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Larry,
the other
let me
way
tell
was
you,
I
let me
was
tell you what happened. Okay. Here's what happened. The default search engine of your Android phone is actually not Google. If the default search engine of your Android phone, let's say, is DuckDuckGo or Yahoo or something
right.
else, I'm not
Right.
going to show up on the first page.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, just so that if
So if I meet somebody that's, using an Android phone, then I need to tell them to go to google.com first and then
no, not at all. But by default, all Android phones actually default to Google being the search engine of their phone. Okay, for some reason on your phone, your default search engine is not Google.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that's
Yep.
what I've experienced with what I know about doing a search for Google Stats. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I, by the way, I perform ReaList for Android users all the time. I've been performing ReaList now for over 5 years, and so yeah, it's not a problem, Larry.
That even happened at a gig last night with an iPhone, and I had to make them go to Google because it wasn't showing up however they searched. So it could have happened.
Yeah. David is right. It does. It can happen, and just by asking the spectator to go to google.com and do a search for it. Now, but by the way, please keep in mind that there is nothing unusual about asking your spectator to go to google.com and to do a search for Google Stats. That all seems very organic. And if you wanted to circumnavigate all of that, you could just ask your spectator to go to google-stats.com, which is obviously the URL that you see here at the top of the ReaList page right here.
Yes, and I was able to force that.
Right. So you're welcome to do that. I mean, I don't do that just because it just seems a little weird. It just seems that much more organic just to ask the spectator to do a search for Google Stats, obviously. So yeah, you could do that too. Oh, since we almost never talk about this wonderful, wonderful QR code feature here in ReaList, this gives me an opportunity to do that. Notice here it says thumper type. So far, every time we've gone to the transmission or the thumper screen, we've been under the clock swipe method. You don't have to use clock swipe if you don't like it. There's this new feature that's called QR code. You select it, you click OK, and watch what happens. Okay, let's go ahead. Admit pop wired. Pop on here. All right. And here we go. We're going to go into the thumper. Okay, when you go into the thumper, look what the screen looks like now. Oh my goodness. It is a QR code. Okay. So what's great about this QR code is that you just pick up your phone and you show it to your spectators. You say, yeah, you guys can either just scan this QR code or you can just do a search for Google Stats. Notice at the bottom of the QR code, it identifies what the URL is, which is google-stats.com. Right, so it's very much analogous to anybody else displaying a QR code where not only is there a QR code there, but it also shows you what the results are when somebody goes to that QR code. Now, this QR code is a very sneaky input device, okay, that is currently not documented in your ReaList manual, which will be very soon. Take a look. Okay, so we're going to go to, we're going to perform ReaList the same way that we would normally perform ReaList. Ask your spectator to do a search for Google Stats. So here we go. Right? They select Google Stats. They go down to the bottom. They select the video games topic. We're now paired together and we're ready to rock. Okay. So now, remember, your phone is in your hand. You're actually holding on to the phone in your hand that has the QR code displayed on it, right? You ask your spectator for a number between 1 and 100. The moment that your spectator tells you a number, with your finger, as you are gesturing at the QR code, you're going to actually input your spectator's number. And here is how. This little square is a 3x3 grid. Imagine it like a tic-tac-toe, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the big white space that you see here down at the bottom is actually 0, right? So let's say I want to force Tetris on item number 23. I do a tap here, I do a tap here, I'm done. Notice that the number 23 actually appeared as a gray lettering in the lower right-hand corner of the QR code. Up on the top of the screen, it shows Tetris. That's because it used inject right now to transmit. Here's the spectator's phone. We scroll down to item number 23. There's Tetris right there. Let me do that for you one more time, just so you can see how cool this is. Let's say you want to force Tetris onto item number 33, right? So here's 33. You can see currently isn't Tetris. So by me just tapping in the upper right-hand corner twice, boom, there it is. I just input 33. That's it. It's already gone. There's Tetris. Let's say you want to force Tetris on item number 30. So 30 would mean first, there's the 3 in the upper right-hand corner. Here's the 0, which is right down below there. There it is, 30. And you can see that now on the right-hand side, item number 30 on the list is Tetris. And I did that, of course, just to show you that the big white space that's below this square represents the 0. And so this is, I showed this to you just so that you guys could see if you are hesitant about using clock swiping in your pocket. This is a wonderful input method that's just always available to you, and it's hidden in plain sight. Yeah. Any questions about the QR code input method? You guys are easy.
Question about the QR code. Is it like a permanent thing?
Is that Austin? Hi, Austin.
Hello, Greg. Yes, it's me.
Hi.
So I wanted to know if that was like, if this is like a permanent thing, like your account will always have that QR code fixed to your account.
The QR code is always fixed to your account. Yes, that's one of the nice things about performing with the QR code is that, well, the QR code does change because it's not going to, so whatever is your current PIN, it's what dictates what that QR code is. So if you were to print out this QR code, you would not be able to use it ad infinitum at all of your performances. No.
Can you show the peak again where we can see the number? It's a QR code.
Sure. Let's do the peak right on the QR code screen. Sure. Let's do that. Take a look. Here we are, right? Does anybody know how to clear the screen of all this little doodling that we've been doing? it's okay, no problem. That's okay. We got these. Oh man, I wish I'd never turned on that drawing feature. I'm sure I could use the eraser, but that's okay. All right, let's go ahead and do a search. Here we go. So let's do a search for anything. Let's do a search for a hello. Okay, so you can see that I just typed in hello. I hit the enter key on the keyboard, and I'm currently waiting actually for it to do that transmission. And it's mainly because we got a lot of inject users right now that are doing this at the same time. So we'll do that. There it goes. And there it is right there. Hello. Came across.
No, I mean the input, the secret input method by numbers inside the QR code where we can be sure to get the input in the picture of the QR code.
Sure. Let's do that one more time for you, just so you can see it step by step. Okay, so here we go. First, okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, let's take you step by step through it. All right, here we go. First, in your inject settings, obviously just make sure that under the thumper type, you select QR code, right? Next, you're gonna go to your thumper, and that's where it displays the QR code. If you, at this point, are curious what your pairing topic is, if you tap here close to the bottom of the screen, it actually switches over to your swipe transmitter screen that will actually display your pairing topic. And at this point, you can hit the back button and then just hit the thumper button again, and it will once again just take you to your QR code input screen. Okay? So now, at this point, you ask your spectator to do a search for Google Stats, right? They select Google Stats. Here's the Google Stats page. You ask them to scroll down and select the video games topic, which in this case, of course, is my current topic. Okay, you are now paired with your spectator's phone. By the way, my phone right now here vibrated on the table. You guys can't hear that, but the vibration on the phone in your hand will be confirmation to you that your spectator now is paired with you. Okay, so now we know that Tetris is our forcing item, and all we're going to do is openly tap whatever is the number that the spectator wants right in front of them by gesturing at the QR code. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it is a perfect tic-tac-toe grid, basically. And then the 0 is down at the bottom. So let's say we want to input the number 59. So here's the 5, there's the 9, and I'm already done. So I have transmitted 59 here to the spectator's phone. And if I scroll down to item number 59, we're going to see Tetris on 59. And there it is right there, sir. Tetris.
Yeah. Now I see it, the number 59 in grayscale inside the graphics.
That's right.
I missed that point.
Yeah. And you see it here in the lower right-hand corner of the QR code. Yes. Now, by the way, to be honest with you, I never look at that just because it's like so obvious. It's like when I input 59, I know that I inputted 59. I don't have to look at it to confirm to me that I inputted 59 correctly. But if it makes you comfortable to look at the number, sure. And that's the reason why we put it there. And obviously, your spectators are never going to see it because they don't even know what to look for. So. Yeah, good question. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello, Greg.
Well,
Hi.
I do have more questions also, but after him.
Okay. Stavros, go for it.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Thank you for this information you give us. My ReaList, I don't see the thumper button when I open it. I only see instructions and perform on my phone, that kind of things.
Right. We see two buttons. There's actually three buttons. The first button is instructions. The
Yes.
the left button says perform on my phone, and the right button says perform on borrowed
Remote.
phone.
Yes.
Right. Well, the right button that says perform on borrowed phone is your thumper button.
Okay. And also when I try to link inject with go to settings of ReaList and try to link inject, the link is not activated. I cannot type there.
Right. The reason why that might be the case is, okay, so let me highlight this here for you one more time. When you go to settings,
yes.
Okay, you scroll down.
Mm-hmm.
Here where it says link URL.
Yes.
You just tap the space that's below there, and then you'll be able to type into that area.
Okay. Yes, okay, got it now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Okay, Austin, you have a question.
Yeah, so my question is, I was wondering if you are planning on a way to have
this app connect to other apps and other devices? Because now there are a lot of devices out there that people are using with Inject, and I think there is a growing need to use
Austin, it
everything
already
together.
does. The Inject link makes it work with all of the products that Inject works with.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. Like I use it like that. I have to tell everybody here first that I use this a lot. This tool is amazing for pre-show. I
Oh,
use
thank
it
you.
before my shows every night. This is an amazing tool.
Oh, thank you
But I
so
use
much.
it another way. I use it in another way. Instead of asking for the number, I steal the number and I ask them to look for that number there.
Oh, okay. Right.
So
So you don't even
so
know what the number is. You pretend like you don't know what the number is.
exactly, and that I use that as a pre-show tool to force an item that I will be using in the show.
That's wonderful. That's great. That's great. It's a great way of using it where the spectators feel like they had a completely free choice of anything.
Exactly.
And then there's no way that you could have known what that is, and it still works. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for example, something that I would like this app to have is, for example, um, a way to have people write the number down in a PITA device, in any device that they can write, and it can be converted to a number to
Mhm.
the app, like a thumping from a PITA board
Right.
or this Audios Wonderland, all
Sure.
these devices that are out there.
Right. Yeah, you want a DFBX Pro feature in ReaList. Yeah. Well, we'll do it. I mean, it's not that hard to do. Yeah. It currently, as you already know, you can already do that by like getting a peek from the number, and then you can either swipe the number in or anything else like that. But if you wanted to have that be completely automatic, so yeah, you're right. It currently is not automatic, and there is a need for you to actually input that number in some way. So yeah, currently the only interface that's essentially lacking is the ability of remotely entering a number into a realist. Everything
I
else, everything else, as far as both going into realist or coming out of realist, is very much configurable right now. So the only one that you mentioned is actually the only one that's
And
not
it's an
there.
amazing tool. I have to repeat that for people here to know. This is an amazing tool. When you know how to use it, it does wonders. Forcing items before the show is an amazing thing to do. And I think that that is an aspect of this app that is not very talked about very
Yeah.
often.
Yeah. I know. Austin, for those of you who don't know, Austin K is a professional magician that performs out of Cancun. And he performs nightly. Actually, I think Austin performs several times a night. And he uses both Inject and Realist professionally. Yeah. Thank you, Austin. Thank you.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Greg, is it possible to work with ReaList and enhanced inject?
No,
That moment?
Enhanced Inject is currently not functioning because the fake Google page is not functioning. Once we get the fake Google page back up and running again, then all of the functions of Enhanced Inject will come back.
What do you think? Which time we have to wait for working with inject again?
Well, Inject is currently working. It's just that the fake Google page isn't working.
Yeah.
So getting the fake Google page back up and running again means that we have to completely move Inject to new servers, and we have to redeploy a new version of Inject. All of that is being worked on right now. It's hard. It's not easy. So I had estimated about a month to do it, and we hope that we can get it done within a month. But at the same time, it gives us an opportunity to actually work on Inject 3, so that whatever is the new version of Inject that we'll introduce with the next version that will support the fake page again, we can introduce some new functionality as well. Because I don't want to just release a new app without having new features in it. That would just be dumb, you know. So I really, really want to introduce some of the technologies that we had reserved for Inject 3 into this next release. Yeah, I'm afraid it's gonna take a little bit of time, but I wish the whole thing with Google didn't go down the way that it did, but you know.
I'd like to ask a question here, going back to what Austin was talking about in the beginning. He said something about stealing the number instead of asking the spectator for the number between 1 and 100.
Right.
He said something about stealing it.
Yeah, he's just talking about like peaking the number. Yeah.
How?
Well, Austin does it in a variety of different ways. And the only thing that you have to do is just have the spectator, let's say, write the number down. You can have the spectator write the number down on an impression device. It could be a center pair. It could be any way that you want to peek at that number. So
Okay.
basically, the spectator is pretending like pardon me, the magician is pretending like he has no idea what the number is that the spectator has mentioned. You know, so as far as what Austin's performance is all about is that pre-show, he has someone write down a number. He knows exactly what that number is. So let's say, for example, that number is 31, right? And so then at that point, he says, now I want you to go to Google Stats and just scroll down to whatever your number is and look to see whatever it is there. And so let's say later on in the show, Austin is going to produce a baby pig out of a box, right? And on item number 31 in the animals topic, it said baby pig. So Austin says, yeah, just keep that in mind. You know, later on, I might call upon you and blah, 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 right? And so then at some point in the show, if he is going to produce a baby pig, he says, you know, you thought of anything? There's no way for me to know what you had thought of. What did you think of? Baby pig. And suddenly the box opens and there's a baby pig there. So that's, you know, how you would perform that. And so,
that is exactly that is exactly what I like. Like that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Sure, sure. You're welcome. You're welcome. Anybody else? Wow, it's getting close to 2 hours we're doing this. This is fun. We've had people come and go. You guys are all set, huh? All right, my friends.
Okay, wait, maybe one more.
Okay, Rick, go for it.
Are we gonna there gonna be a special pricing for Inject 3 for current users?
Inject 3. Well, I'll announce pricing as we get closer and closer to it. Yeah.
But the Inject
what
that we
I
have
on the last thing that we did with these live events,
Yeah.
I said to everyone that the price of Inject for people that are not currently users of Inject is going to be going up very, very dramatically. We're talking about huge.
Okay.
So Inject, in essence, will no longer be this thing that you can walk into a magic shop and pick up for $75. That's going bye-bye. I'm never doing that again.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I don't blame
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So for the people that are currently using it, it's fine, you know. But for new users, yeah, the price is going to be very dramatically different.
All right, so but the Inject that we currently have now, that's going to be coming back regular. Then you're also going to be releasing Inject 3.
Right. So there will be new functionality in Inject that for existing users you'll have to pay for.
Okay.
Yeah, but the functions that you had before are there, you know.
Oh,
So
great. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Sure. You're welcome.
Hello, Greg.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, mate. You all right? Yeah, I come in late. I've only been in 10 minutes. So my question is, what I've missed. Will this go on to the instructions of ReaList so I can look back on it?
Yeah. So everything that we just did on this webinar has been recorded. It's actually been recorded onto my computer. so that once we're done here, I am going to post that video on YouTube, and I'll post a link to it on our not only on our Facebook groups, both for Inject and ReaList, but I'll even post it on my own personal group as well. You guys can jump on. Maybe I won't because there's methods there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys can jump on and check it out. It's really, really simple and straightforward, Dean.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. This was really fun. We had a lot of participants. I don't know where we peaked, but I'll check that out when we're done. And I hope you guys enjoy it. If you have further questions, of course, you're welcome to ask on our Facebook group. I can't wait to see what you guys do with the ReaList Peak and the ReaList Prediction. So far, every time I've done it, it has been over the top amazing, just because the spectators recognize that I'm never touching their phone. And it's going to make you feel like you have a superpower every time you do it. And for those of you who didn't see, we do have an amazing special right now, a sale that's going on for ReaList. If you're not currently an owner of ReaList, ReaList normally sells for $60 on both the iOS and the Android app stores. We now have it on sale for $45 or $44.99. If you're outside of the United States, I'm afraid that most of the European countries have VAT, which is a tax that's added to it. So if you do a conversion and you realize that $45 doesn't translate to the amount that is actually posted on your app store, please know that it's something that I cannot control, and it's just tied to the taxes that are for your country. Okay, but within the United States, of course, it's $44.99. Yeah. And that's our special. It's $15 off of its regular price. So take advantage of it because this sale is going to end in a week. And that's if you don't own ReaList. But if you already own ReaList, then you're all set. That feature for the new ReaList Peak is free and you can use it right away. All right, brothers.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Greg. Thank you, Greg. Very nice. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Have a good one.
You
Thank
too,
you
guys.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.